guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here again, bringing you guys a bit of an update out of Brooklyn. So apparently, these are just rumors at the moment, but the Brooklyn Nets are supposed to pursue the Cleveland Cavaliers for JaVale McGee. This is a smart move, I think, for the Nets if they can make it happen. If they really want to land, JaVale McGee, they're gonna have to give up Landry Shamet and either Bruce Brown or Nicholas Claxton or somebody. They're gonna have to trade two players for one. This makes a lot of sense for Brooklyn only because yes, they did recently signed, I think, Novell Pele, if I said that correctly. He's supposedly 76ers fans say the guy is very good. He does a lot of the little things. He's a good shot blocker. But JaVale McGee was very good for the Lakers. I know he didn't get as much play time as a guy like Dwight Howard once Dwight Howard got there. But JaVale McGee was very good for the Lakers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have a massive influx of centers on their roster, and with getting rid of Kevin Porter Jr., they can now also take on an extra player, so they could take on a Landry Shamet and a Bruce Brown or a Nicholas Claxton. I don't know how that's going to go, for Cleveland. I don't personally, for me, I don't think that's a fair trade for Cleveland. I kind of think JaVale McGee is better than both of those players, but you never know. The Cleveland Cavaliers could be interested in Landry Shamet, and if the Nets can somehow, some way get JaVale McGee back for either of that combination of trades, it's pretty good for. I think that's pretty good for the Nets. They have DeAndre Jordan. But yes, they do need another center. I'm thinking they need backup shooting guards too, and a backup small forward. I don't think they can keep playing Kevin Durant and James Harden, the insane amount of minutes they have them playing per night. So I'm not really sure what the Nets are going to do to add some depth, but they got to do something. But yeah, this is like a new developing story, supposedly, that the Nets are trying to pursue a JaVale McGee. It'd be cool if they could pursue Hassan Whiteside, considering, like, in Sacramento, the dude's not getting any play time at all. And Hassan Whiteside is a really, really good rim protector. He's got a pretty expensive contract, so maybe that's why the Nets aren't pursuing him, because obviously they'd have to give up somebody like Kyrie Irving if they really wanted to bring in a guy like Hassan Whiteside, and I just somehow, some way, I just don't see that happening. I can't see the Nets trading Kyrie Irving to the Sacramento Kings for Hassan Whiteside when they already have De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield. I just don't see that happening. I did bring up Andre Drummond in the past on a previous video, saying that I think they should just straight up trade Kyrie for Andre Drummond. I still live by that. I still think Andre Drummond is going to be moved before the trade deadline. If the Nets could get Andre Drummond and just have KD, Harden, and Andre Drummond, I think that would solve a lot of their problems. Don't get me wrong, I think Kyrie Irving's a good player. I just think as we go down the road here, Kyrie Irving's going to become more of a headache than anything. He seems to have a problem with not being like the number one or number two option. And on this particular team, he's clearly like the number three option. I think Harden is better than Kyrie, and I definitely think Kevin Durant is better than Kyrie. So, I don't know, man. They got a lot of guys who need the ball in their hands to be effective. It would be cool if they could somehow get more assets for Kyrie. And I think if they're really, like, all in on winning this year, with, Harden, KD, and Kyrie, I think it's almost inevitable that, like, the Nets are gonna have to trade Kyrie Irving if they want to add some depth to their roster, because you have essentially like 3 max contracts on your team. And yes, Brooklyn is in New York City, so yeah, it's a bigger market team, I guess, but they need to do something, man. They need to do something because their second unit looks kind of weak. It's not terrible. They still got Spencer Dinwiddie. They still got Joe Harris, but those two players alone, I don't think are going to win you games in the playoffs. When you got teams like the Lakers who have a lot of depth, you got teams like the Miami Heat who have a lot of depth, you got teams like the Bucks who have depth. So that's the one thing that the Nets did give up for getting James Harden, was they gave up their depth. So they are going to have to get some type of depth on their roster if they do want to make a serious go at winning a ring. So if it's not this year, I definitely think it'll be next year. But personally, I got money on the Nets winning it this year. Just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people are saying that they're not like championship material, and I personally, I don't think they are either. But I do think they're gonna make some moves in the future. I think they're gonna make some moves in the future here for them to add some depth and become that team. So tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section below. This has been the Fast Break Report. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more, and I'm out of here. Peace, guys.